won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. So, oh Lord.
What we have here is a Porsche 944 with a pulley that will not slide off as it's supposed to. The pulley we're looking at is right down in here, and it's supposed to slide right off into my hands, and I have tried prying on it with what I had that was appropriate and cannot get it off. So I'm going to have to use a puller. Now I have a variety of pullers, and none of which I think are really correct for this job, and so I'm going to build one. This particular pulley that I can't pull off is one of two that are the same. There's an upper and there's a lower, and it's the lower that I can't get off. So what I'm going to do, down here we have very limited space. We have very limited space in front, and we have very limited clearance behind. So it's going to be difficult to pull. Now I have a factory-made puller that I just don't like. It's I mean, it's good for certain jobs, but not for this one. So what I've done is I've taken some 1/4-inch bolts. I'm hoping that this will pull off fairly easily, and I have ground the head of the bolt at an angle. Not sure if you can see that, but this edge is kind of sharp, and the idea is that I'm going to hook it behind this pulley just like this. And I've already tried it down in there to see if I have clearance, and I do. It's just about a perfect fit. I'm going to hook it behind that pulley, and I have a piece of scrap metal that I took out of my junk pile, and I'm going to drill this off with a center bolt that I just dropped on the floor. Whoop, and down that goes. And this is a fine thread, a 3/8 fine thread. A lot of times I'll use larger, but like I say, I don't expect this to come off that hard. And I'm going to put that down through the middle. And these bolts, one on either side. And we're going to just give that little pulley a yank. And I think it will come out no problem. What we want to lay this out is we need half the diameter of this pulley plus half the diameter of a bolt. So the way we're going to do that is measure the full diameter of the pulley, 2.472, and the full diameter of a bolt, 0.245. And we're going to add those together. We're going to take 2.472 plus 0.245 divided by 2 equals 1.359, and we're going to put this distance here, 1.359, each side of center, and that will create a puller of the right size for that pulley, and then we'll go from there. What we've done is we've put a very light coat of white spray paint onto the scrap metal to just give us a surface that we can scratch in order to lay it out. If you had something like bluing is what a machine shop would use, but we're not going to worry about that too much. We take our little scratch awl out of the back side of a combination square just like that, and we're going to lay one line down the middle, just like that, and we're going to split the middle here 3.5, so 1 3/4 inches is going to split our middle right here. And I'm going to go this way to get a good split. And then I'm going to take a prick punch Looks like I missed it there, but I'll double check that. Then I'm going to take a prick punch and I'm going to put a good punch mark right in the center. And after that, we'll lay out our other two and then we'll start drilling. I took my piece of scrap metal and I've laid out the center, and I put a big prick punch mark right in the center. And now I'm going to lay out the other two holes, and the way I'm going to do that is to take my dial calipers and I'm going to set it for half of our spread that we calculated earlier, 1.359 this happens to be. And I have locked this at 1.359, and I'm going to take my dividers and hook one right there, and I'm going to go with a go and no go on the other one until I have it set correctly, which I have actually already done. At this point, we put that right in there. You strike that. You strike that. And I now have the correct spacing for my two rods, which are going to go down through in this manner. And I'm going to go over to the workbench and put a nice prick punch in both of those locations. Just a quick discussion about drill sizes on this piece. On a normal piece that you were going to bolt together, you would drill what's called a clearance hole. Now on a 1/4 inch, that clearance hole would be typically 9/32, and that allows that bolt to wiggle just a little bit in the hole and to fit in a hole that's not perfect alignment, which is what's mostly desired. On this piece, I don't want any wiggle and I don't want any extra clearance. So we have a 1/4 inch bolt that's going to be used, and we're going to drill a 1/4 inch hole. So we want that bolt just as tight as we can get and still have it fit through. Now on the center screw, we're going to use a 3/8 by 24, which is a fine thread, 3/8. And if you look at your typical drill tap charts, they will give you a typical drill for a coarse thread. So if you're going to use a fine thread tap, which is what we're going to do, obviously for a fine thread bolt, then you need the drill bit that corresponds to a fine thread tap. Now on this particular case, it's a letter Q drill. So I think 5/16 is for a standard 3/8 if I'm not mistaken. Well, we're going to use a letter Q, which goes with a fine thread tap, and we should be golden. All these things can be purchased off the shelf at Lowe's or Home Depot. Any good hardware store would have them, and it's no real problem. When you're ready to drill your piece off, be very careful of your alignment. Use a proper drill table, or as needed, clamp it down, get your alignment just exactly correct, and use just a little bit of lube on your drill. I happen to use a little leftover 80-90 gear oil, dip it under my drill just like that. Sister Salsa, we say. And we are going to give a little drill. And there's one. Now we go right down to the other end, just like that. Being, once again, very careful of our alignment. Wasn't that easy? I've decided to double drill my center hole just to perhaps make it so that my drill bit wouldn't wander. And so I used that same 1/4 inch drill that I've been using. I poked one hole. We'll come back through now and use our letter Q, just like that. Now I'm going to put a little bit of a chamfer on that hole. Put a little bit of a chamfer on that hole, just like that. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this drill press to help start this tap. We'll put a little bit of lube on that tap first. Just like that. We'll put a little bit of fine sister salsa on there. And we're going to poke that down into the hole right like that. And we're going to start it going this way with a little bit of pressure on it in the drill press. Whoops. I don't want that to come loose. Give that a quick snub. I'm going to start that like that with just a little bit of pressure from the drill press. And then, once I have it started, I'm going to loosen the chuck and let that go right away. And let's see if my small tapping handle will take the strain of this one right here. And from there we go by hand. That tap is all started perfectly alignment and straight because of how we did it. And I can hear it chewing into my piece of wood underneath, which is just right. Alright, let's take that off, see if we can get that out from there. Alright, and let's give it the test fit. There we go. And just like that, my jack and bolt goes right down through the middle. And we're good. I have my puller made up, and I put the center bolt of that pulley into place to give me something to press against. I've hooked my 2 1/4-inch bolts around either edge of the pulley. Let's see if I can get this. I don't know. I don't quite know what's going to happen here. I can see the pulley moving. I can see it coming out on its shaft just the way it's supposed to be. And I'm going to need to probably, there we go, just like that. Well, the homemade puller worked very well. It pulled this pulley right off just the way it should have. If you need to build your own custom puller for whatever reason, it's a fairly simple thing to do, and you just dig in and do it.